All right. Let's get into it, peeps. So, this is, I've got to get my brushes organised. They're right here. Nice, nice, nice. I am going to start, what am I going to start with? I am going to start with the flowers in the background, I think. So, I am going to go in with, straight in with yellow. I'm going to go in with cadmium yellow into these flowers at the front. So there, this is, I could do the background. But haven't decided on what I'm going to do with that yet, because it's all whites and greys. So, but I might get into that. I'll just do this flower. Do a couple of flowers just to warm up. I might make the background like pale blue. I think a very, very pale blue, because there's a window here that I haven't drawn in. So I might do that. We'll see how we go. But I can block in my flowers first. Get them started. And you can just see there's one over here, a little one. Like that. Hello, how are you, Jen? How you going, Dale? Having a play with gouache today. So what have you been up to, Dale? Oops, I've got to clean my brush is probably a good idea. Got a bit, need to get a bit of pink on there. Bit of pink. Bit of white. Okay. And I'm going to go onto this flower and block in the palest pink. Doing better today. I think this is going to be an awesome painting. Oh, thank you, Dale. I'm glad to hear you're doing better. Yeah, I love gouache. I've been having lots of fun with it. And I've been having fun with still lifes. I usually do sort of landscapey, not landscapey, animal landscapes and things like that. So this is lots and lots and lots of fun. I'm going to go in with more of a pure pink for these back flowers. Because this is gouache, I can go over it in different tones as well. I'll add a little bit of white to that. A little bit of white to that, a little bit more pink. Like that, make it more like these front flowers that I can darken them up. Then get a bit of red into it. Towards the end. So how are the babies? You been doing more work on them? Alright, so I'm not sure, I'm still deciding on how I'm going to approach the background. Still deciding. I'm going to make that's got to be a bit redder. So I'm going to go grab some red, grab some cadmium red, pop into there, like that. I'm just popping petals, just sort of darker petal-y colours. And just in the shapes, because they're like little geraniums, I think. I finished a new one. Oh, I have to read his hair. Awesome. Well, that sounds cool. This must be so satisfying to complete one. There's so much detail in them. I couldn't imagine even being that focused. Be amazing. All right, I'm going to leave that alone. What have I got? So this here. Oh yeah, no, actually I do need to take the red one, bit more red, bit stronger red, into here. I'm just going to add petals just around like that. Just suggest them. They don't have to be exactly right. It's a woodland elf. Oh my gosh, wow. Oh, I can't wait to see that. That sounds fascinating. That sounds amazing. So now I'm going to do the glass. How on earth am I going to do the glass? Okay, so I guess I'm going to do white. And a little bit of blue maybe. Do white to begin with. I can always adjust as I go. There's a heap of leaves and other stuff in there. Oops. It's rewarding to finally have one done. It takes about 2 weeks to complete. Gosh, yeah, that's amazing, but that's so beautiful. Such a beautiful little thing. I didn't even realise you had different types. Like you could do little woodland ones, and you could make them, you know, more characters than, I suppose not characters, that's not the word, you know what I mean. Like theme them. That's really cool. That's extremely cool. So I guess that's actually a very pale blue grey. So I'm going to add a bit of blue, a touch of blue. I'm going to go in with the cobalt. Just a tedious touch of cobalt blue. I've got to take that around and be very gentle with it. Yeah, there's different ones that just don't work on fantasy babies very often. Wow. That is so cool. I just had no idea, because you're the first person. I mean, I'd seen them years ago. One of my friends had a couple of little babies made in remembrance of her little ones, little baby dolls. And they were absolutely magnificent, but that was, God, 30 years ago. I haven't seen them in that long. All right, so I'm going to leave that sort of like that, just very gentle sort of shadows. I can come back and brighten that up. I'm going to do the background. There's a window. Should I try the window? I probably shouldn't. I don't know. I'll come back to it. I picked a picture with lots of white. That probably wasn't the wisest move, but anyway, you know what? What makes you a better artist? Doing things that you're not used to doing and that are super challenging. You got to think outside the box, eh? So I am going to do the window, and it's here. So it's going to be in blue. It's like a newborn baby, but has elf ears. Oh my God, that sounds so adorable. That sounds so adorable. And I reckon the window comes to about here. So I'm just going to paint that in. And I'll just use blue and white. Whoops, my Tutoraial gouache. Mix up a bit more. Haven't mixed up anywhere near enough. More water in there. It's going to be cool. I hope so. I'm a bit sort of like, uh-oh. But, you know, you never know unless you give it a go, eh? Never know unless you give it a go. I looked at it and I'm like, I just fell in love with the background. I fell in love with the picture itself. And now I'm painting it. I'm like, how on earth am I going to paint that? That was probably not something, because I liked it aesthetically. But now I'm like, hang on a minute, how do I translate that into paint? Because it's lots of white on white on white. But anyway, well, it's all fun. There'll be lots of blues and lots of greys. It'll be. So what have you got on for the rest of the evening, Dale? So you're going to start working on the little one, the doll's hair tonight, or what's your plan? So I'm just going with cadmium blue and white. Cadmium blue and white. Whoops. And it doesn't matter if it's a little bit darker hues here and there, because it just doesn't matter. Because windows, there's all sorts of reflections going on in there. All sorts of reflections. And I like the lightness of this picture. I like the softness. So I can pop actually a little bit of darker blue, sort of around here. And we'll try and make it look like a window somehow. Not quite sure how. There's a reflection in there of the yellow. So I'm going to pop a little reflection. That'll probably make it go greeny though, won't it? But anyway. I'll come back to that maybe. Maybe. So now I'll make a grey with a bit of blue, a bit of red and a bit of yellow. 3 colours makes grey. I need a bit more blue in there because I want it to be darker. A bit more blue. I can go, actually, you know what, I'm just going to go blue and brown. Go blue and brown, because that's the easiest way to mix grey. So blue and burnt umber. Where's my burnt umber? There it is. Burnt umber, touch of blue, makes a brown. Brown grey. There we go. So that'll be the shadow colour under the window, because that keeps a bit of blue in it. Because it needs a bit of blue in the shadow edge as well. Just to keep it unified. Makes a lovely sort of a grey colour. That's my universal go-to grey mix. Alright. I can drag that out a little bit. So wet my brush and just tidy up that edge a little bit. And then the face of this, so I'm going to pop a little bit of white with that. So I'm going to use the same mix, but use that for the shadow that comes in here. A bit more white in there. So that's that browny grey with a bit more white. And always, because that's the windowsill coming in there. The edge of the windowsill. And about there, I reckon. The books are green, so there'll be a nice little bit of contrast. So come down and around there, like that. And then cut it around the vase. Like that. Okay, so you can't see in the back there, so cut around there. All right. I was going to paint apples, but I chose this. I'm a glutton for punishment. All right, so we're going to pop a bit of white up the top here. I could leave it the white of the paper, but I just want to add a little bit of something there, like that. All right, it's going to be a perfect paint of your kitchen. Well, actually, I've done a few little still lifey ones. I did. Where are we? I quite like them. I might do a little series. I did. Oh, that's one of them. The little one of the bowl of fruit. So I've been doing lots and lots of little still lifes that would actually make a nice little series. I do like doing little series on things. Hello, Elf. How you going, doll? How are you? So I'm going to make this shadow a little bit darker, coming down behind the cup. Thank you, doll. Yeah, it's lots of fun, and because I usually do wildlife. It's a oh no, I don't need to go onto there. It's a whole different ball game. So how you going, Elf? All right. So then the rest of this is pretty much white except for the shadows. So the shadow, actually I'm going to make a purpley grey, a very, very pale purple. I won't make it grey, I'll just make it purple. Where's my cad red? Make a very pale purple with cadmium blue and cadmium red. For the shadow colour. That's a bit better. Because this shadow needs to be a bit richer in that bit there. And then it's a little bit stronger on this front edge here. Just a touch. Just a touch. Right now I have 2 wave scenes from Grayscale painting hanging in my kitchen. Oh, nice! Very nice. Very nice indeed. Yeah, he does some amazing, amazing work. I've got to try acrylics next. I've got my acrylics organised, so he's inspired me. He's definitely inspired me. Okay, so this is all darker. How do you like working with gouache? I don't mind it. It's taken a little bit of fiddling and getting used to. I don't mind it at all. I did one yesterday I was really, really happy with. I don't know what I've done with everything. Hang on. Is it here? No, it's not there. I did a bowl of fruit and it turned out really good. I really enjoy these ones. These ones are Sennelier gouache, and they're really, like, they're Jenny friendly. They're really glowy and soft and lovely, so I am enjoying them. And I love, like, because I treat them like watercolour. You probably shouldn't, but I do. It's just the way I work, so I find it not too, and because I do a lot of watercolour, I find it quite easy. To me, it's probably easier than watercolour because it's, you can go over it. If you make a mistake, you can go over and darken it up or add white or whatever. You can go light to dark, so I find it quite forgiving. Okay, let's have a look at that little bit of shadow colour. Was it like a marker? It's an opaque watercolour. It's just an opaque watercolour. So you treat it the same. You use it the same way. You can go a lot thicker, so you can have it, quite heavy and thick, so that it's absolutely opaque, like an acrylic almost, just a matte acrylic. Oh, you've never heard of it? Oh, okay. It's probably as old as watercolour. A lot of people who used to make, the old Disney movies way back in the day when they used to paint on film on plastic. What do they call? I forgot what they call that. A lot of the old artists, like Lion King and things like that, the original Lion King used to, they painted in gouache. And it's fascinating. If you Google it, it's a really interesting medium. And then there's casein, which is made of milk, which is similar again. There's so many mediums out there. There's so many fun mediums to try. It's going to come down and darken up this shadow a little bit. So I'm just blocking in now. All right. I'm going to get onto I might leave the white, because that is the brightest white. I probably should have. I'm going to go back over this with a bit of white up here on the top of that window ledge. But I find it's really glowy and soft, like this particular brand, and it does very much depend on the brand. You get what you pay for with gouache. You go good quality. The cheaper ones are real chalky and a bit yucky. But this is Sennelier. I use a mix of Sennelier and gouache. Sennelier and Schminky gouache, and I love both of them. They are both amazing. Yeah, like using acrylic. I like being able to paint with white paint since I don't have to do that with transparency. Yeah, exactly. It makes life a lot, like for what I'm just doing here. If that was in watercolor, I wouldn't have been able to go back and fix it, because I realized I'd gone a bit too heavy on the window ledge. Okay, I'm going to start on this little book. Oh god, yeah, it makes such a difference. My very first set of gouache was just a cheapy brand, and I used them and they were fine. Like, the artwork turned out okay, but when I got the good quality ones, oh my god, it was worlds apart on quality and ease of use. So much easier to use. Everything about it. I would highly recommend going the best you can possibly afford. But yeah, because you do get what you pay for. It really does make a massive difference. Because I've tried a couple of different brands, and these ones are by far my favourite. So I'm just darkening up these flowers at the front. Hello, Aurora. How you going, Dale? And Candid, hello. How are you, Dale? How's everyone's day going? The only craft store here doesn't sell good brushes. Oh, yeah. I got these. I actually got mine online. My brushes, I got my silver black velvets online. I bought them in from, because they didn't have them here where I am. They had them interstate. So I had to buy them from New South Wales. And now they're even harder to get because of imports and stuff. So hard to know what to buy online. I know, you've almost got to know what you want before you get it. It's hard. And like I literally bought these off reviews that I'd seen. These particular ones. Because I'd seen so many positive reviews. I thought I'll buy a couple and then I'll just see what I'll, and if I don't like them, oh well, and if I do like them, I'll get some more. And I loved them. I'm good. I'm very good. I'm, yeah, happy camper. Just got up, did all my housework. So I've got all that done for the day. So now it's literally just a matter of kicking back and arting for the rest of the day is my plan. So I'm going to go Helios green and a bit of yellow. Got to make the green up for the vase. In the vase, I'll start with a pale green. The silver black are the best. Yeah. They are wonderful. They are wonderful. I do love them. So I'm just doing the bases into this, and I'll add darker as I go, but there's all sorts of leaves and stuff going into there. I'll pop a little bit of that around in here as well, I think, up into the little bunch of flowers. And I'm going to go darker green, so I'll go a bit of olive in there, a bit of olive, so I add a bit of blue, and a bit of blue to that as well, just to darken that up even more. I will have a look into those. Yeah, they are lovely, and I use them for everything like these. I don't have a separate set for my watercolours and my gouache. I just use them for everything. Use them for absolutely everything. Like, these flowers are very impressionistic. Very impressionistic. All right, clean my brush. And I love this because you can play with shadows. So I've left the white of the paper as the white for the white of the table or the windowsill. So now we're going to start on the cup. Oh my God, oh my God. Okay, so I'm going to go blue, cobalt blue and white for the shadows. I've been dragging the garden hose around to the plants to give them extra water. Oh yeah, you guys have been hit so hard. Just going to check that on my bit of paper. That's a nice little very pale blue colour because the cup is reflecting light. So I'm literally just going to pop the reflection colours in that very pale blue. Sort of comes around to there. Then down onto the bottom of the cup. Then around to that side. I looked into Denise's vegan palette and I decided to fork over the money because it's also free of heavy metals. There you go! Awesome! Go Candid! I looked into Denise's vegan palette and I decided to fork over. Yes, that's awesome, Dale. Awesome, awesome, awesome. I'm glad you found out about them because that was such a long time ago, but I knew they were, I remember seeing them and they were so good. Perfect. Oh, I'm glad. All right. So I'm just going to go around there. Like I said, I can go back in with a little bit of white. I'm going to need to because my cup's a bit wonky. It's a little bit wonky. So I'm just going to tidy up that lip of the cup there because I've lost a bit of the shape. I've got to pop a bit of the white back in there and get the tea colour in. So for the shadows, it's literally just the, thank you for remembering. Oh, me about the paints? They're just amazing. They are just amazing. My pleasure, Dale. They stuck in my mind because I used to watch her avidly. Used to watch her work avidly because she's a real She was a whiz at watercolours. Okay, now the tea, how on earth am I going to do the tea colour? Okay, so what colour am I going to use that? I reckon a bit of raw sienna. Bit of raw sienna and a bit of white. Just to try and see. That might go pinky if I'm not careful. Oh no, that's sort of a tea colour. It's a tea-ish colour. Sort of. Might need to be a bit redder. Add a little bit of a warmer red to that. Add a bit of burnt sienna, a bit of red brown. Add a little bit of red brown. A bit of white. A little bit more red brown. A little bit of white. Let's have a look. I think you missed what I said. Oh, I probably did. Hey Jen, I got some super. Oh, okay. What's your good news? What's your good news? Tell me. Tell me. What's happening? I like good news. So I'm just going to drop this in here. Oops. Like that. Depends how dark of tea you like. Well, this is true. This is true. My patterns. And soon bought me. Oh, awesome. Oh, God, that was very loud. Sorry. He bought you an Xbox. Your parents bought you an Xbox. Oh, my God. Awesome. Woohoo. I got very loud then. Sorry, guys, if I broke your earballs. Well, there you go. Red, brown and white makes a great tea colour. Your son, oh, he's gorgeous. He's a sweetheart. It's nice when our kids spoil us back again. I'm just going to lighten that because there's a little bit of a reflection on the top, like that. It'll be here around the 10th. Nice. Sounds like a lot of fun. Yeah, Aurora and I both love our games. I actually just got the PlayStation 5, and I got it for my daughter. Like milk in your tea. I do too. I'm a milk and sugars. I'm a sugar and quite a bit of milk actually. Quite a bit. I like mine creamy. Can't wait. I'm excited for you. I've got to work on the shadows in the vase in a mini. I'm going to get onto these books. They're green. This has got gold pages. How on earth? I do have gold gouache. Am I going to be cheeky and use the gold gouache? I reckon, no, I'm not, because that's just wrong. I'm going to go in with an orange. Go in with my orange. Okay. Onto these pages. And just block these in. Like this. And I loved your chair too, Aurora. Loved your chair. That looks so super duper comfy. Still be able to play together? I don't know. I don't know, because I play on PC. I think so. You should be able to. I think they're cross-platform. I'm not 100%. I'm not very knowledgeable about all things like that, I have to say. Super comfy. Oh, yeah, it looks beautiful. I love the padding on the back. Aurora got a beautiful new gaming chair for her birthday. She's 21 again. And again. It's a bit exciting. All right, so that's the inside. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow there as well, just onto the edges, a bit more light up here. So I'll add a bit of that brighter yellow onto the edge, and I'll pop in some little details for the pages in a little itty bitty bit. Me either. My son will help me set it up. Yeah, I got no idea. I call out to the kids. It's like, help, kids. What colour am I going to do the book? The book's like a heritage green. I'm going to go, I reckon Viridian's probably the closest, a bit of Viridian. And I can add a little bit of yellow, to it, a little bit of cadmium yellow to my Viridian to green, make that green a bit different. because the book is, yeah, that's about right. I should have probably tested it on a piece of paper first, but yeah, that worked. So I pop that in here. And I'm being very sparing, like I'm being very sort of tentative. I should be a bit braver, but I'm going in with thin layers just to, because I can always change it. I'm just going to wet my brush and drag that out a bit more. So I'm treating it like a watercolour for this bit. Just for this bit. Got to do shadows on here as well, so there's going to be a couple of layers onto my book. Go into the handle of the cup because the book goes around there. And I hadn't used gouache in years, and I've only just started playing with it again in the last few days, or maybe week. So it's fun. It's fun trying different things again. So these are two green books. I'm going to leave, like the binding's got patterns on it. Where's that? Does that come off? That goes to the edge there. So take that there like that. And I'm going to leave all the white of the paper and just a little bit at the edge where there's going to be like writing, and I'll just sort of suggest that. I won't do it solidly like that. Take that all the way down there, and then I can go in with darker greens for the shadows, because I've got to do a dark shadow here. There's a gold, the orangey shadow there, and this underneath book is a little bit darker. So go back in. What do I use? I use Veridian. Veridian. Oops. Veridian. Let's check that. Yep, that's actually darker. That's good. A little bit darker, which is nice. I'm going to come under this book. I've left the edge of that book a little bit lighter. This book's a bit darker because it's underneath and in shadow. So come under here like that. I love the bright colours. It makes me happy looking at it. I've been really enjoying, like, because I usually work earth tones. I don't usually work bright colours. So it's really fun to try a bit more bright work, because I don't usually. I'm going right out, getting right outside my comfort zone. So, which is cool. I'm just going to leave little gaps like that. It is, it's light and bright and fun and airy, and I haven't painted an animal in a week. I think it's the longest I've gone without painting an animal. But I'm really enjoying it. I am enjoying it. I've got to go out and take photos. I've got to go for a drive and get some landscape photos. I need to practice my landscapes as well, and I want to practice portraits. I've got to practice all the things. Love it. The more colourful, the better. Oh, lovely. Cool. I'm gonna, those pages, I'm gonna go in with a bit of pure Veridian. Being brave, just into here. I've got to darken up down here. And I'm going to actually make it a bit olive. I've got to blend that. I'm going to soften that out again. So go over it with a damp brush. Just move it a little bit. Okay, let's have a look. Well, they definitely look like books. That's always a good thing. I've got to do the cup shadow, and that's a very dark blue-green. So I'm going to go a bit of my Veridian, a bit of my olive, sorry, a bit of olive. And I might try, I'll go a bit of ultra. I'm going to add a bit of ultramarine in there, just to really darken up that green. Check it on my doodah over here. Be brave. The cup shadow. Goes like that. And then around. Like that, and then like that. Okay, the shadow, I love the shadows in this picture. That's what attracted me to it, was the beautiful shadows and the real contrast. I'm trying to play with shadows more. There we go. And actually go over the edge of the book And then actually that gets darker down there as well, so I darken that up and we'll get lots more contrast then. Then come up to here. Have you heard of James Gurney? Oh my God, I love James Gurney. He's my idol. He is completely my idol, yep. I watch his videos all the time. Yeah, totally. And he does everything. Like, I love his dinosaurs. I love everything yep. Yeah. I'm like the fan girl. Definitely. It's like, people have rock star idols. James Gurney's my painting idol. I'm fangirling. Totally. Simple stuff and amazing. Oh God, it's beautiful. Yeah, it just shows you that less is more. You don't need to, go all fancy dancy. You can keep it simple. But the detail he goes to is just, especially on his dino. He illustrated for National Geographic, and National Geographic is one of my favourite magazines ever. Which I'm going to go over that like that. And then I've got to darken up this shadow on this one to the same colour almost, just here. And another amazing gouache artist is Jared Loves to Draw. He's changed his name. It's Jared something or Jared something else now. But he used to be Jared Loves to Draw. And he's just as good. Like, fantastic to watch as well. He does beautiful landscapes with gouache. So I watch him whenever I can as well. And he made his own palette too. He made a beautiful brass palette. It was gorgeous. So I'm just going to darken up these shadows under here on the bottom sides of the books. The reason I chose this picture was for the shadows, because I love shadows and trying to do them, trying to paint them. All right, so that's that. Jared is great. Yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing, and he's a lovely person too. A lovely fella. I'm going to go a bit of blue, a little tiny bit of white, and I'm going to draw in the little pages. Because why not? Because I can. I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to mark in very gently, very, very gently. Oops. Some pages. Just suggest them. The rough paper will help me a little bit, like that. Lena Revo. I haven't heard of Lena Revo. Okay, cool. There's someone I need to look up. I haven't heard of Lena. Cool. All right, that's looking pretty cool. I'm going to go with the yellow, cadmium yellow, onto the binding. It's gold here, but I'm going to go yellow. Doesn't have to be exact. Like that. She mostly does gouache. Cool. See, I love finding out new people. Because I love gouache. Like, I'm really enjoying it. Really very much enjoying it. I just like it's got a little bit more guts than watercolour. I can be a bit bolder with it. I've got to darken up the shadows on the cup. So clean my brush, go a bit of blue. I'm going to go a bit of cobalt, a bit of white. So what are you working on at the moment? Elf, what are you up to? I'm going to darken up under here. It's going a couple of tones darker on the blue on the bottom of the cup. and anywhere that looks a little bit darker. Don't want to do it all the way around because it'll really make it look too heavy. And I'll soften the edges like that, and then that shadow comes up there a bit darker like that, because it's got the light coming in through the window, and then around that edge, right around that edge, and I've got to go around the edge of this handle carefully. I've got to add a little bit of white back into that handle, but we can do that. Sharon Cullen. Yes, I've seen Sharon. I have seen Sharon Cullen. We're lucky we've got so much choice and so many people we can see. So many inspiring people. I'm going to make up a bit more of a shadow. I just need to sharpen up these, not sharpen them up, but darken up these shadows a little bit. Get a bit braver. That shadow comes down here. Like that. Because this shadow is darker on this side. And then there's a real reflection underneath. Come down and around. Just looked up too. You got two? Cool. Cool, cool. All right. Go out a bit wider with that shadow there. Subtle than I can watch. I know, me too. Oh my God. I get alerts all day, every day, and I'm like, oh God, I pick and choose. I have to, because there's so many great artists out there. There's so many great artists. You guys are funny. That's awesome. I've got to try and drag that out a little bit. I've got to, what am I going to do there? I'll let it dry. I'll let it dry. Don't always get a lot of time to watch, but yeah, exactly. So everyone's got lives. It's really hard, but it can be really hard to get to watch everyone. I pop in here or there. Okay, I'm just going to darken this shadow. A bit of blue, and I used a different red. I used my carmine to make a stronger purple this time. Bit of carmine red to make the purple a bit stronger. And that goes off the edge of the table there, like that. All right. Why are you not, it's not covering, it doesn't want to cover there. It's weird. It's doing weirdness. But I'll figure that out. I just need to let it dry, I think, because I'm lifting it. I think I'm just lifting it again. All right. Now, back into the vase. So, how on earth am I going to do this? I've got to actually darken up this bit here, going with a stronger little bit of orange, because it is darker here, because that is in shadow as well. Like that, just darker on that edge. Just a little bit, just a little bit. And then I'll make a little bit of grey. Bit of blue, bit of white. It's not really grey, but a shadow colour for this end of this book. Like that. Okay, now I can't really see, there's sort of, in the reference photo, there's actually a curtain across here, which I haven't drawn in. Or maybe I should do the curtain. Should I do the curtain? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just going to darken up this little edge here. Going into there. But you learn by watching others. Oh God, yeah. I learned heaps watching others. Heaps. I've been watching Yong Chen as well. Oh my God, he does amazing watercolours. So inspired. And I've been watching a lot of Jenny Granbury for the portraiture. She does amazing watercolor. You'd never know, like sometimes you wouldn't even know it was watercolor. She does, she gets such guts in her work, like such depth and layers, and oh gosh, it's magical. she's magical to watch watercolors. All right, where are we? What am I going to do with the background? What am I going to do? Am I going to do the curtain? I don't know if I can. I could probably make it a wiggly wobbly. I could give, I don't know, I think, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. Go rogue. Go rogue or go home. I'm going to do a curtain. I'm scared. But it's in the picture. I've got to do it. Do I have to do it? Do we reckon I'm doing the curtains? Help me, people. I mostly paint with acrylics and draw with pastels and charcoal. I love charcoal. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do the curtain. Comes down here. I'm doing it, people. I'm going rogue. All arts, practice, practice, practice. Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's just doing it. And then when you finish doing it, do it some more. That's all it is. Repetition. It's that simple. And I mean, I look back at my work a year ago and I've come so far. Like, I've got a long way to go, but I've come so far. It's amazing. Like, because I've painted every day for a year. I think I've had a week off in a year. I've drawn and painted every single day. Okay, I like the curtain. That worked. It's just a sheer. I can never get watercolour painting to turn out the way I want because I'm so picky. Yeah, and watercolour is something you've got to be, like, less is more. It really is. Like, watch Yong Chen. Watch Yong Chen. Oh my God, watch Yong Chen. He's simple. He does everything in like 3 brush strokes, but it looks photographic. It's just insanely good. Like, it's breathtakingly good. He's just a superpower with watercolour. He's Superman. He needs a cape. He needs a watercolour cape. I just picked up watercolours for the first time since high school. Oh, nice! Just reminding myself that I'm still learning. Exactly. You know, we're all still learning, Candid. We're all still learning. I'm still learning. I learn every time. Every time I see someone new, I learn. So I can recommend a wonderful book for watercolours. A wonderful book for watercolours, and it's Joseph's book, Vic. I'll type it into chat. Joseph, is it going to let me? Hang on. Oh no, it's not going to let me. Oh shit. Joseph's book, Vic. I'll spell it for you. ZBUKVIC. Joseph. Mood and Atmosphere in Watercolour. The best book I've ever owned on watercolours. The best book I've ever had. It explains the water consistency and the pigment consistency, like, in such interesting, like, basic, easy to understand terms. That's my Bible. It's like my watercolour Bible. And I refer back to it often. Like, I love it. Love it, love it. So this is curtains. I'm just going to pop a little bit of the texture like that. So does that look like a curtain? Please tell me that looks like a curtain. Okay. I use watercolor pencils to draw as colour and then come back with a brush. Yes. Yeah, I do enjoy me watercolor pencils, but I don't like them on their own. I like them for that, for drawing as well. But as well as using them with the watercolor. Looks like to me. Oh, good. Oh, good. Like, how on earth do you draw a curtain? But what do I see? It's what I see. I just see that being just that. Tea cream milk. Yes. Yes. Love, 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 love the way he describes things. All right. So, oh, I've run out of clothy stuff. Now I'm going to go back into me white. Back into me white. I've got to get bright white in here where it's reflecting on the bottom of the glass. Yeah, and he lives in Australia. One of my friends actually had lessons with Joseph, which is just mind-blowing. And his mate that he travels the world with. Getting ready for Draw Some Live. That's 10:30, isn't it? That's an hour? Or have I mixed up my times? I will be over there shortly. All right. I've got to add a bit more blue. $8:30 p.m. That's, yeah, but that's 10:30 my time. That's an hour. Yeah? I just had a moment of, oh God, have I messed up my times? So I'm just adding the light, the water around. Got to get my dinner, but it's turning beautiful. Thank you. Great. Thank you for popping in, Dale. I was reading your text at the same time. I was thinking and talking at the same time. Great to see you too, Dale. Enjoy your dinner. Enjoy your dinner. So I'm just popping the watery bits in. Take it easy, Dale. Have a great night. All right, so I'm just popping the reflections in here into the water. I want to darken up under that flower. I'm going to go in with a bit of ruby red. Bit of ruby red under here. Oops, I need to darken that up. So I'm going to go a bit of purple, a bit of blue. A bit of blue into me red. Just to purple that up, deepen it up, shadow it. Want me shadowy colours into the bottoms of these flowers, up against the yellow. You're really good at painting the transparent things, the vase and the curtains. Well, the paints sort of do it for you, which is really good. That's something that watercolor has taught me. You let the paper do the work. The paper and the paint do the work for you. It's and simple. Keep it simple as you possibly can. Because I tend to overthink, and I'm trying not to think as much and put too much. Go into things too much. I just got to get my shadows where the shadows are, and the rest, like these flowers, there's no detail in them whatsoever. They're just little blobs. They're literally just blobs. And letting your paper shine through a little bit, just to give it that what's the word? Translucence. I'm just going to pop a little bit of dark into there, just sort of show the bottom of that vasey bit. And less is more, like trying to keep it simple. Try not to overthink things. Now there's the ledges behind there, so I'm going to pop just a light line of blue there, because that sort of just shows that reflecting through the back. Pop a bit more white up here. All right. I think I'm going to leave the I think I'm going to leave that. I think I'm going to leave the flowers. I've got to go a bit more of a darker tea colour. Just a bit more, so I'm going to get a little bit of burnt sienna. Just take around the edge, this edge of the cup. Just sort of adding final little snippies of colour. Little snippets. Like that. Shadows are so much fun. Like I'm really enjoying trying shadow work. Like just, yeah, it's just so fun. Got a little dot of milk there. Just using the very tip of my brush to get the white back. And then it comes down the inside of the handle there. There's a reflection coming down there. And I actually reckon that's not far from done. I don't really think that I need to do a whole lot more. I quite like that as a simple kind of just shadow piece, playing with shadows. So I reckon I'm going to sign that and I'm going to call it. So, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sign it down here. Like that. And I am going to say that is done. Very nice, Jen. Catch you again. Thank you, Alf. Awesome to see you, Dale. Thank you for hanging out. I'm going to take my tape off because this is the fun bit. Would you be open to doing a video on shadows? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've been thinking of ideas to do things next, so that's an awesome suggestion. I would love to because I love shadows. I love shadows. They're like my favouriteest thing to try and paint. So yes, absolutely. I'd love to, Candid. Looks great as always. Oh, thank you, Dale. Thank you. But yeah, there we go. So it's that was simple. Like there's a lot of just bare paper. That's all just paper, pretty much. All of that. Anywhere that's pure white is just the paper. I treated it like watercolour. So yeah, no, that was lots of fun. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Thank you for the chat. Thanks Aurora and Candid and hang on, I'm scrolling. And everybody's. And Inspired by Babies, Jen, and who else was here? Who else was here? Try and thank everyone. Where are we? I think I've forgotten someone. I don't know. There's been lots of chat. But thank you everyone for being here anyway, guys and girls. You guys are awesome. Have an awesome day. Now I'm going over to Twitch now because Aurora and I are live streaming for Drawsome Live on Twitch. So Jen's World About Art, Aurora's Art World. If you search those on Twitch, you will find us. We'll be live streaming in an hour. So have an awesome day. Thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow with, I don't know what, but I'll be back with lots of shadows. So have fun. Have a great night. I'll see you later. Thanks, guys.